Let's roll. Level 3 has begun. This is SportsRage. I am Morency. We got George Kurtz kicking it with us right now. So, George, I tweeted out a story. This is from the Toronto Star tonight that they posted about ticket prices in Toronto for NHL playoff games. And a lower bowl ticket for Game 1 of the Toronto Maple Leafs playoffs, Game 1, Round 1, $1,800.
Guess where I'm not going?
Now, to put in context, how about this? The same ticket, so sit in the same area, the same ticket, versus in Florida, they're playing Florida, so the same ticket in Florida is $600 right now. A return flight from Toronto to Miami is $500. So you could get the ticket in Florida and the flight.
You got $700 to play with.
And you still have, the hotel and food and drinks.
Easy.
And it'd actually be cheaper than it would to go to a local game. That's pretty crazy in Toronto, huh?
Well, you can look at it like that, which is true. It is. It's actually nuts. But it also means Toronto will sell out. If they're all at that, that means they'll get those prices. Someone's going to pay that. Where in Florida, they got to bring it down a little bit. If Florida can get $1,800 a ticket, they would charge it too.
Yeah, but you know what the thing is? The tickets would never even be $600 in Florida, if not for the damn Leaf fans. They're going to go and buy them. That's
Very
the
true.
thing. The Leaf fans are bumping the market up in Florida even. But, to put in context, it's the same. Boston is like $700. So, Toronto's just insane with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I want to check back in, though. I want to check, and shout out to everyone joining us on Sirius XM Channel 159. I want to check back in on the prices like next week. Just because people are asking for $1,800 doesn't mean that, I want to see if it goes up, it goes down a little bit. But it's a similar situation in Vancouver. The cheapest ticket to get into Vancouver for Game 1 of the playoffs for the upper bowl is $340 right now. So that's the last. That's the last row. For the LA Kings, the same ticket is $122. So tickets in Canada cost a lot of money for NHL playoff games. The Canucks have tied the game at 1 right now.
I can't say that's nice little. Somebody put it right in front. Garbage goal, but I'll take it. I think it was JT
You can go to
Miller.
like the Islanders. You can go to every playoff game for $1,800 and still have money left over.
He'll have change.
Literally. You'd be able to go to every game and like in the playoffs and get good seats and still have it more like than that.
I was wondering this. If Toronto, let's just say for giggles, you do get $1,800. If they ever made it to the finals, what the hell is the ticket going for then? $5,000? $6,000?
What? No, for the lower bowl? Stanley Cup Finals in Toronto? I was a scalper in the old days in that market, in these markets. That's $20,000.
Oh my God!
For a top tier seat, $20K. It would be a Stanley Cup ticket. A Stanley Cup ticket would be about $3K to get in the building. Like that'd be for like the upper deck, the upper bowl,
right?
$2,500, $3,000 type thing.
$20K, just
a lot of money in Toronto.
Yeah, your average fan can't even go.
No,
that's sad. That's just.
But
sad.
you notice the Leaf crowd isn't very loud or passionate. You know what I mean? Because the average Leaf fan, the guy in the street can't go to the game. He doesn't have $1,800. His wife or $5,000. But you can. Like basically, it's like Toronto's like New York. God, Phoenix just scored now. They scored again.
Oh, come on!
You gotta be kidding me. Just tied it.
Once again, I'm so far behind you.
And I swear to God, man, the Canucks have done this a lot, man. They give up these goals with 30 seconds left, 10 seconds. There's 30 seconds left in the period. You just tied it. Like now, you did all the work that you did. Come back. That was a bad
That's a
goal. He
bad
didn't
goal.
see it.
That's a bad
yeah,
goal.
it's just
He wasn't even ready for it.
That's frustrating.
Flip shot.
I was just like, oh, good, we're back in it. Like, and good, we're going to win. Now it's like, come on, guys. What are you doing here?
Oh, he never saw the damn thing.
No, but nobody even reacted to it. Like, nobody blocked it. Nobody did anything. like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to screen the goalie, make sure you block the damn shot. Like, I hate that. Yeah, and it's a big thing with guys now. Like, they all try to block the shot all the time, but if you're going to do it, make sure you do it. They didn't. Everybody on the Canucks just watched the puck sort of like flicker through the air, and the goalie couldn't see it, and it bounced in with 30 seconds left. That's brutal. I still say they come back and win.
So do I, but I'm
Level
get
3
like this.
has begun. This is Sports Rage. I am Morency. George Kurtz is muttering under his breath because Captain Chalk's in trouble here. The Vancouver Canucks are losing to the Coyotes right now.
I'm having a good
world,
night.
Kurtz.
All right. Chalk has done well tonight. All right. We won with St. Louis. I would have had a much bigger play on Edmonton, too, if I got a little scared when McDavid wasn't playing. I had a much bigger plan for that game, and they still went out and smoked Vegas. Annoyed. Did well with the Padres.
Yeah, what does that
did well
say?
with Rangers.
What does that say, though? It says Edmonton don't really care about winning the division. And it says Vegas. I don't think Vegas are as dangerous as they were last year. I think it's catching up to them. They won the Stanley Cup last year. They played a ton of hockey. They played a ton of hockey over the last couple of years. It's catching up to them right now. Speaking of catching up to them, the police, have they caught up to Rashee Rice yet? I know there was a warrant for his arrest.
8 charges. How long you get suspended for? If you don't go to jail.
You're the Kansas City. Yeah, there's a lot of serious charges, actually. Like, I was looking at, like, the sentences for the charges. It's pretty serious. He's going to have to buy his way out of this, point blank, which you can do. But he only makes $700,000 a year.
He ain't got the money yet.
Yeah.
After taxes, he's got $400,000 a year.
No, like, he doesn't have any money. So that's the whole thing. So it's like, you need to have money to pay people off. He doesn't have money. So he's going to have, like, what are you going to do? Like, you're going to play for free for the next 5 years? He smashed one of those cars that he ran into the guardrail. There was a mother with a 4-year-old kid in the car. Like, as if, screwed. Like, she doesn't have an attorney. Like, she's going to nail him. Like I said, like, good luck, bro. I kidded on Twitter. I'm not even kidding. Anyone want to buy a Super Bowl ring? Like, point blank. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm a lawyer, I'm suing. I'm just going to say, oh, give us your Super Bowl ring right now. We're going to take that. By the way, we'll take that Lamborghini you were driving. Where do you live? Yeah, did you buy a house? Because we're going to take that. Like, he's screwed. This kid's screwed. Like, and he could go to jail, actually. I doubt it. And it's not like the Huts pay for anything.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
I mean, is it pretty much cut and dry that NC State is the biggest surprise of the weekend? I mean, I don't think anybody's bracket had the Wolfpack going this far.
I think they're going to find a way to keep this one close. And we all know Purdue's tournament history under Matt Painter. They've had a lot of early exits when they've been good teams, and maybe this is the time they'll exercise their demons. It's kind of like when Virginia lost to that 16-seed UMBC.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We had the best team in Colorado losing. So there's like, it's not even like Colorado's going to sit on it, right? I mean, there's no way in the world we're not getting one more goal. We're going to cash this ticket. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
I love the bet. I love the price. I think that's, like I said, that's one we're going to have to, I mean, we're telling everybody right now. They're probably moving it in risk rooms everywhere. right now based on us giving out this information.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
North Carolina come back, take the lead, and then somehow Alabama punches back. A true classic. Like, the word classic gets tossed around loosely a lot, but that really was a true classic.
Great point earlier about Arizona. They had such an advantage under the basket, yet they're having guys just chuck threes. Their whole game plan sucked from the get-go. Like, the fact that they lost that game, I put a lot of it on coaching.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell Coast to Coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Morency, the pits, the players, officers, the people who bust them, and everybody else in between. We're throwing it down. Ian Cameron and Gabe Abandon will join me in a couple of minutes. We're getting ready for tee-off, actually. We're going to recap Brady Cannon's golf picks. We got Cam Stewart's golf picks. Cam is right now in New York City. He's going to the hockey game tomorrow night. He went to the game with Pharrell last night. So we'll get to the golf picks, but we've got our police blotter update right now. So Ohtani's interpreter is facing federal charges related to his alleged theft of millions of dollars. So this basically confirms Ohtani's story that the money was stolen, because you can say something. You know, people will often say, oh, you know, you did this or you did that, but they won't actually sue you. They won't actually try to press charges because they're just lying and they're just saying it publicly. Ohtani, you can't just say someone stole $4 million from me and then go to the police and tell them that unless it's true. You can say publicly, this guy stole $4 million from me and it's not true and whatever. You could do that and get away with it. The guy could sue you for libel, but you know what I mean? You could do that. But so long story short, it's true. Buddy did steal the money from Ohtani. He's been charged with the FBI for this super grand larceny and theft, wire fraud, whatever. I guess it's the wire fraud stuff because it was online and blah, blah, blah. So I guess the guy did manipulate Ohtani's bank account, change the settings around and stuff. So alerts about bigger wires. Ohtani did trust the guy to handle his bills for him. It was his best friend. So the guy was paying Ohtani's bills, his car lease, and all that type of stuff. So Buddy did have access to a bank account, and he manipulated it. And now he's going to pay the price for it. So that happened. And Rashee Rice, so the warrant is out for Rashee Rice, and he got hit with a lot of charges. All right. And I was looking up, if you look at the potential, the jail time for the charges is pretty serious. I know a lot of times you'll see the potential and nothing ever really comes of it. But the fact that they were so aggressive, it goes to show they're not playing around here. And the thing is, he doesn't make a lot of money. He's a freaking, he hasn't been in the league, man. The guy made $770,000 last year. He doesn't have enough money to buy his way out of this. You know what I mean? If you're super rich, you're at the hundreds of millions of dollars, it's all right, lady, here's you know what I mean? Here's $250 for you because you were there. Here's $500 for you. What, I got to give you $4 million? Okay, here's $4 million for you. But you know what? I'm staying out of jail. He doesn't have the money. He doesn't make the money. So all kidding aside, like I said, what are you going to do? Sell your Super Bowl ring? How much are you getting for that? Like, you know what I mean? Maybe Rick from Pawn Stars will give you something for it. Like, all right, there's $20K. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got real problems, bro. And just think about the Kansas City Chiefs for a minute. Andy Reid, God bless him, nice guy and all that. But Andy Reid's kid, like, paralyzed a kid, nearly killed like 4 or 5 people when he's all lit up on pills and meth, whatever the hell he was doing. You've got Patrick Mahomes' father, who was actually doing weekends in jail in Texas over the last couple of years because of his repeat drinking and driving offenses. Remember, like Super Bowl week, he was so lit up, his face is all wasted and stuff. He's going to jail for real. Like, they're now in Texas. They're like, yeah, no more weekends for you. You're going to jail. We don't care to your mom, who your kid is. You're going to jail. So he's going to jail. I'm not saying for 12 years or something, but he's going away for a little while. You got Mahomes' brother, who's just got off for like whatever. He slapped a girl or groped a girl in a restaurant and all this. It's always something with that kid. Tyreek Hill, never mind. He was a chief. Your super fan is a chronic bank robber who's in jail, who robbed a bunch of banks to pay for money to go to Chief games. And oh, yeah, you had a mass shooting at your parade. You guys are running some organization over there. And it's a good thing you win, but I guess it's the old adage, nice guys finish last. Let's bring in Ian Cameron, a.k.a. Babano. What's going on, Babano?
Hopefully we're not finishing last with our picks. That's the main thing, right?
Well, you're a nice guy, so you could be in trouble, Babano. You got to be a meaner person.
Yeah, apparently.
If I said nice guys finish last, you consider yourself a nice guy. So, speaking of picks right now, the Denver Nuggets are starting to pull away from the Minnesota Timberwolves, 102-91. The in-game total is 210.5 right now. There's 4 minutes left in the basketball game. Looks like Denver is going to win the game, but the point spread was 7 before tip-off. And amazingly enough, guys, the Clippers are beating the Phoenix Suns right now, 100-96. Phoenix were double-digit favorites in this basketball game of Babano, and they're losing outright right now.
You think the sports books are rooting like crazy right now for the LA Clippers? You got to believe it, because there's not a single soul that's going to be interested in backing the Clippers in a revenge spot for Phoenix, with the Clippers sitting the big three of Kawhi and James Harden and Paul George in this game. And yet here we are with the straight-up results still very much in doubt.
Yeah, there's a lot of money line parlays right now that are getting a lot of stressful people in sports books around America right now. There's still 9 minutes left. There's time for Phoenix to come back and win the game outright. They're not going to cover the number, but to put in context, guys, the Clippers starting lineup tonight was Tucker, Plumlee, Highland, Mann, and Coffey. Bones Highland's gone off tonight, 15-23 from the field, 37 points. He's the reason why the Clippers are winning this basketball game right now. Boston Jr.'s got 19 off the bench. Meanwhile, the Phoenix Suns, they've got 17 from Durant. Beal's giving them 24, and Booker's giving them 25. And this is an example, actually, Babano, of why the Phoenix Suns can't be taken seriously in the playoffs. Because even if you get 25 from Beal, 25 from Booker, and let's say 25 from Durant, the math doesn't add up. The rest of them aren't good enough. They spent all their money on these 3 players. They're just not deep enough. Phoenix are not a legitimate playoff threat, in my opinion. And I like the Suns. I got nothing against the Suns. I like to see them do well. I like the city of Phoenix. But it's hard to take this Sun team seriously, bro. I just can't.
Isn't this the same thing we thought about Phoenix last year, too, when they got bounced? Like, it's just too much reliance on 2 or 3 guys. There's no bench. There's no depth. There's not a lot of defense on a consistent nightly basis with this team still, just like last year. You put all those ingredients together, and how do you pick them over a Denver? How do you pick them over even a Minnesota or an Oklahoma City, who I think, even though they're young, are still very dangerous come playoff time? How do you trust Phoenix, even with that star power of Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, when you don't play defense consistently and you don't obviously have the bench and the depth that's required? You're going to need depth players, and Phoenix doesn't have enough of that right now. It's the same issue they ran into last year, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, last year, you're right. Last year they were too thin, but they turn around, they bring Bradley Beal in. they would have been better off, instead of paying Beal all this money, splitting it in two and getting two other guys that can actually contribute, do some dirty things for you, and sort of more all-around players, and add that to the roster, as opposed to just bringing in, like, you already have Kevin Durant and Booker. It's like, you don't need Bradley Beal. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know what? Let's bring in another guy that's just going to bomb threes here, because that'll put us over the top. No, it won't. Right? It won't. And now
Last I checked,
you're
there's
and
only
you see
one
what
basketball in each game, not three. So what good does that do?
You
Look
see
what
it-
Atlanta with this. The Murray Trey Young dynamic never totally clicked there.
Well, that's completely different. Like Murray, they're not on that level. But Dame Lillard and Giannis are a better example, in which Milwaukee were better with Drew Holiday. You know what I mean? Like Milwaukee, all right, so what? You score a bunch of points. You're not a better team because you have Dame Lillard now. You have like a flashier name, right? Like teams that win the champion. It's weird that Milwaukee didn't get that, but you know, they listen to Giannis. Giannis bitches about, I need this, I need that, and they listen to him. But it didn't make them better. Then they fired a coach that was 30-13.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
I mean, is it pretty much cut and dry that NC State is the biggest surprise of the weekend? I mean, I don't think anybody's bracket had the Wolfpack going this far.
I think they're going to find a way to keep this one close. And we all know Purdue's tournament history under Matt Painter. They've had a lot of early exits when they've been good teams, and maybe this is the time they'll exercise their demons. It's kind of like when Virginia lost to that 16-seed UMBC.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We had the best team in Colorado losing. So there's it's not even like Colorado's going to sit on it, right? I mean, there's no way in the world we're not getting one more goal. We're going to cash this ticket. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
I love the bet. I love the price. I think that's, like I said, that's one we're going to have to, we're telling everybody right now. They're probably moving it in risk rooms everywhere right now based on us giving out this information.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
North Carolina come back, take the lead, and then somehow Alabama punches back. A true classic. Like, the word classic gets tossed around loosely a lot, but that really was a true classic.
Great point earlier about Arizona. They had such an advantage under the basket, yet they're having guys just chuck threes. Their whole game plan sucked from the get-go. Like, the fact that they lost that game, I put a lot of it on coaching.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage Late
sort
Night.
Of has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It's 108-94 with 3 minutes left. Denver Nuggets have pulled away. They're about to win this game in a big battle with the T-Wolves tonight. 106-105 with the Phoenix Suns and the LA Clippers, the game we were talking about. What a train wreck, man. I just can't wait for the playoffs to start, Babano, so you don't have to handicap these weird games all the time. And speaking of which, weird games, that's hockey. The Vancouver Canucks have been pretty dominant. At least they were. I mean, they got away from a little bit, but they were dominant in the first period. They couldn't score. Arizona scores the first goal of the game, which inevitably always happens when a team outshoots someone in the first period. The other team scores. Vancouver responds, gets the tying goal. You figure, okay, now the Canucks will get on track here and win this hockey game. And then they give up a terrible goal with 30 seconds left in the second period, which is just a killer. The Canucks are good at responding and coming back after giving up a goal. They're pretty good out of the room, and after an intermission as well. They're plus 135 right now. Do you think they come back? Arizona's minus 165. Vancouver is plus 135.
I'd like the price to be a little bit better. Maybe I'll wait, see if I can get something a little bit, at least plus 150 or better. I don't want to jump in yet, but they've certainly got it in them. And remember, this was the second night of back-to-back games as well for the Arizona Coyotes. They were in Seattle last night. So do the road legs on the second night of back-to-back start to hit the Coyotes a bit? They do have to pick it up because they didn't have a great second period, the Vancouver Canucks. I think they only had like 3 or 4 shots on goal for the whole period. One of them went in the net courtesy of JT Miller, but that was definitely not a great period. Tocchet not going to be thrilled with it. So we'll see if Vancouver comes out storming here to begin the third. They should. I'm going to see if I can get plus 150 or better. If I can, then I'll jump on Vancouver.
I would be careful of waiting too long because Vancouver are good at scoring quickly out of periods. We've seen them when they're at their best. They used to score like in a minute of the game all the time.
Yep.
We'll see now. Like they already have they're taking a face-off in Phoenix's end here. I expect Vancouver to tie this game in the next minute. Right now, here's Quinn Hughes. Boom, will they score? Oh, I'm dead serious. I'm calling the shot. They're going to score in this little sequence here. You can just tell already, they're like, no, we're determined to tie this game early.
40 now. Here we go. Just 10 more cents and I'm in.
Shoot. All right. They're swarming. Oh, it's close. It's close. I've got Vancouver on multiple parlays, so I'm not going to chase it already. I've got the under 6.5 as well in this game. So if we hit the under, okay, but I do want Vancouver to come back and win this game. I've got them parlay with the Denver Nuggets, bro.
I mean, they still have a division to win, Vancouver. They haven't sealed anything yet. I mean, with Edmonton winning tonight, there's pressure still on them. They're still going to have the Oilers 2 games in hand on Vancouver with a 3-point gap, and they play each other head-to-head Saturday in a huge game. So this division's still very much up for grabs, especially if Vancouver drops this game tonight.
Yeah. No, you can't dispute that. I mean, Vancouver can make their lives a hell of a lot easier. Even if Vancouver was to get a point, it would make it one thing though. I know Edmonton won tonight, but it's pretty clear they don't really fully care about the division. If they did, McDavid would have played.
Oh my goodness.
McDavid.
Oh boy. Well, there's a little change in the old script.
Oh, there it is.
Wow.
Now we're in trouble. 3-1.
Arizona goal.
3-1 Arizona. Quick out of the gate. Dear God, it was Arizona. Unbelievable. If you're Vancouver, here's another. So it was a sloppy. Here it was Hughes behind the net, of all people. Hughes is arguably, I'm not going to say he's their best player, but he is one of their best players. He's their captain. Hughes just gave up the puck behind the net, coughed it up in front, and got bumped up. It was totally just him mental breakdown. They gave up a goal with 30 seconds left. You give up a goal here with less than 2 minutes into the period. That's bad. It's like a little mini collapse here that's going to cost you the game. And like you were just saying, it's going to it makes this division still in play right now. That game could be very, very big on Saturday night with Vancouver and Edmonton, even though considering the standings and stuff, Babano, and the seeds, they change every day. I don't really think it matters, to be honest. It's you know what I mean? You're going to play the LA Kings, the Vegas Golden Knights, right? Nashville. Yeah. It just switches every night. You know what I mean? Either way, it's not easy. Does it really matter, Babano? Not much? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Not in the West. Every series is difficult. Hell, you're going to get even these wild card teams like, Vegas and LA and Nashville, these lower seeded teams in the West. They have the capability to spring an upset. I'm not saying they will, but they've got the capability in the roster to do so. So that's why if you're Vancouver, yeah, you'd love to win the division. You'd love to have, obviously, the home ice advantage for most of the Western Conference playoffs. But if you think that's going to be the difference between a tough opponent in the first round and not a tough opponent in the first round, you need your head examined, because the West is tough top to bottom this year in the postseason.
As it is right now, man, the Dallas Stars would play the Vegas Golden Knights. That's the first round. That's a first round matchup. Colorado would get the
Jets.
That's
a Western
Vancouver
Conference
would
final caliber series in the first round, essentially.
Yeah. It goes to show stupid the NHL playoff format is. All right, Babano. So UFL football. We're going into week 3 right now, and you know what's good about this actually is this incarnation of this league. It's not new at all. Right, there's some continuity now with these teams. We're into year 3 for some of them. So it's not like new to anybody. The rosters, like that's why Birmingham are so good. Birmingham have, like, the core of their team is basically the same team. They've lost a couple, they changed the quarterback here and there. They changed a little bit, but they have a lot of the same guys back, and you see. And, we're seeing some of these teams right now starting to get into a rhythm. We've had a great start to the season. So I'm happy that football is back, and I look forward to week 3 here. What do you think about the card this week?
Yeah, this is an interesting week here now, because now we've seen 2 games from all these teams now. We got a little bit more of an idea, of what we've seen about both sides of the football from them. We'll start with the Saturday card, DC and Arlington. Now, I think from a situational standpoint, there's things to like about Arlington here. We know DC historically is not as good away from that great home field that they have. That's a great home field. We see the Beer Snake and, just the great vibes they have there. And I'll tell you what, I was fortunate, Gabe. I like DC laying the points last week against Houston. Very fortunate to get a push on that, because they won by exactly 5 points. That game was there for anybody's taking at that point. So DC, I think they've disappointed me at times a little bit. It doesn't help either, too. The pick 6 right at the beginning of the game for DC ended up costing everybody the point spread cover. That was the play that basically cost DC the point spread cover last week. Tamu ended up throwing a pick 6 there. I think Arlington, though, you got a desperate team at home that's 0-2. They haven't been very good. They really have not been good defensively. They've given up a lot of points, a lot of big plays. Luis Perez has been good at times, not so good at times, but it's been more so the offensive line. He's taken a pounding at times for Arlington. But I think situationally, Bob Stoops' team need a win. You don't want to go to 0-3 in this league, in a shortened regular season. And I don't know if DC's a team that do I really trust you laying points on the road and against a desperate Arlington team? I'm not so sure. So I'm kind of thinking Renegades there as a home dog in that one as of now.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. The game's basically a pick 'em. DC Defenders are minus 125 on the money line. Arlington are plus 105. The total is 43.5. Arlington were the XFL champions last year. They kind of underachieved in the regular season. They changed quarterbacks. They bring Perez in. They get lucky in the playoffs. They win the championship.
Birmingham, the dominant team in the league.
Well, that's the thing.
It's on the road. Tough venue.
Yeah, they got Birmingham, who are by far the best team out of the XFL and USFL over the last couple of years, 2-time defending champions. And like you said, then they had to go on the road and play in the loudest venue in the league with 40,000 people in St. Louis. And that game was super close, too, as we saw. They're battling. They're going to win this game. I agree with you, too. DC were good last year. They're not as good. Tamu's okay. He's good. He's not great. Their ground game is what did it for them last year. They're not running the ball as well. You're right. They have a good home field advantage there. We saw in week 1 their offense struggled against the Brahmas as well. I think Arlington does nail this one down. I agree, too. I was going to say that. You look at Arlington, and they played like a really tough schedule to start. Like I said, you got the freaking Birmingham, who's a beast. You got to go to St. Louis, who have a lot of talent. So speaking of Birmingham Saturday night at 7 o'clock Eastern, get the Memphis Showboats. And, Birmingham are one of these teams right now where, the quote is you just can't get in front of them. And not with Memphis, bro. Like, if you were giving me, like, who's the other best team in the league here? That's debatable. Like, people think it's St. Louis or something, but you need more than 7 to take them. We saw this on the road against Michigan, but, bro, they won by 7. You need more than that to bet against this Birmingham team. And I think Birmingham is going to light it up this week on offense, actually. I think Birmingham are going to roll Memphis. Lay the 7 with the Stallions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not getting enough points with Memphis. I actually have considered Memphis here, but their offense has really disappointed me. And I've loved Case Cookus. I'm trying to figure out why this Memphis Showboats offense hasn't been better, than what we've seen so far. The defense has been, pretty solid. You're going to feel absolutely sick, Memphis, about losing that game against San Antonio last week because they dominated that game for 3.5 quarters. But San Antonio scores. They get the 4th.
That was epic.
13. That was an unreal comeback. Brutal loss for Memphis. How do they respond? But you're right. I've made the decision. I ain't stepping in front of Birmingham. I'm not going to start now.
No, you just can't, guys. They're that good. And they've got 18 players.
They need to be laying doubles before I consider it.
They've got 18 players on the Birmingham Stallions that were NFL draft picks.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
I mean, is it pretty much cut and dry that NC State is the biggest surprise of the weekend? I mean, I don't think anybody's bracket had the Wolfpack going this far.
I think they're going to find a way to keep this one close. And we all know Purdue's tournament history under Matt Painter. They've had a lot of early exits when they've been good teams, and maybe this is the time they'll exercise their demons. It's kind of like when Virginia lost to that 16-seed UMBC.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We had the best team in Colorado losing. So there's it's not even like Colorado's going to sit on it, right? I mean, there's no way in the world we're not getting one more goal. We're going to cash this ticket. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
I love the bet. I love the price. I think that's, like I said, that's one we're going to have to, we're telling everybody right now. They're probably moving it in risk rooms everywhere right now based on us giving out this information.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
North Carolina come back, take the lead, and then somehow Alabama punches back. A true classic. Like, the word classic gets tossed around loosely a lot, but that really was a true classic.
Great point earlier about Arizona. They had such an advantage under the basket, yet they're having guys just chuck threes. Their whole game plan sucked from the get-go. Like, the fact that they lost that game, I put a lot of it on coaching.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We're kicking it. Woody and Cameron. I am Gabriel Morency. This is SportsRage. Shout out to all of our AM radio affiliates, the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio SoCal in the house on the SportsGrid Radio and Television Networks. 3-1 for the Arizona Coyotes over the Vancouver Canucks. 13 minutes left, and the Coyotes are on the power play. 116-107 final score. Denver wins. They cover, and the game goes over. So we told you guys, I thought 214 was a little light, so they do end up getting over to 223 in the game. We're just taking a look at week 3 of the United Football League, and we've been killing it so far, 9-4 through 2 weeks. Although we actually had, like Babano just said, the Houston game was a push. And like you, I got a push. I had it at 5. I had him on the money line too, but I had it at 5, and I posted at 5 too. I got the push, and I got a push on a total too. I think it was the same game, which is frustrating. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I pushed both bets in the same game, right? Because it was 41, whatever it was. I was like, I actually pushed both bets in the game. I was like, what the hell? Because I was caught up in a women's basketball. I'm looking around on my account. I was confused. I was like, how is this even possible? But it is. So that happened. But I've got a pretty good feeling for this. Oh man, Phoenix nearly scored again, but they didn't. So yeah, we're getting pretty good groove here, Babano, and I agree with your assessment for the most part here so far. I do agree on on Arlington beating the DC Defenders. I think Birmingham personally, and we were talking about Arlington, Babano, playing that tough schedule. Think about it with Birmingham. They opened up at Arlington, and then they went to Michigan. This is their first home game. And don't forget, they were the only damn team in the damn league that actually had fans, right? So they actually had, you know what I mean? They were like literally, that was the only place, like, you know, they had fans in Birmingham. Other teams didn't even have, weren't even selling tickets to games. They actually have I don't know, 15,000, whatever, maybe they'll get a little bit more since they're so good, but they got a little base there at least. People in Birmingham, their first home game. And they're just so damn good. They're gonna win this game like 27-10 or something. I don't know, like 34-14 or something. I think Birmingham's offense gets going. And then we got to talk about the Houston Roughnecks and the Michigan Panthers, who kind of battled with Birmingham last week because of their defense and because of their kicker, who of course, Jake Bates guys, remember 2 weeks ago he hit the 64-yarder. Then last week he hit a 62 and a 52-yarder. Which is pretty amazing. And there's only one kicker in NFL history that's ever made 60 or more yard plus field goals in back-to-back weeks. And it's not Justin Tucker. Brett Maher did it in 2019. This Bates guy really is on fire right now with these kicks. So it is kind of a little bit of a weapon in what could be a close game, Babano. We'll see if he can keep it going outdoors because he's doing this in the dome here in Michigan. But I like the Panthers here. I know you like the quarterback change with Houston, but I still think the Panthers can grind it out on the back of their defense and special teams, and I think Perry can just make enough plays on offense to get them first downs. I think they win an ugly game.
Yeah, I hope it's not too ugly and I know why this is the lowest total on the board because
you think it can get there, to 39?
I think it can. I think for E.J. Perry and Michigan's offense, it's now going to be the third week with the new OC, which is, of course, Marcel Belfait, former CFL head coach. You got a little more synchronicity now with the playbook. I think it's a step down in class as well for Michigan. You played Birmingham might have the best defensive line in the UFL. I know they have the best defensive line in the UFL, Birmingham. And Michigan had to deal with that last week. Houston's the total opposite. They have zero pass rush. This should be an opportunity for E.J. Perry to step into throws, find receivers, find some time. I think the guy can play a little bit. He's just had to face some pretty tough defenses early on. I think this is the week Michigan's offense actually explodes a little bit. And I do agree Houston's offense will be challenged by a very good Michigan defense. But I actually view right now Reed Sinnott, who's going to get the start here, an upgrade from Guarantano because I thought he was very poor against Memphis. He was terrible. Wasn't very good against DC before his injury. Sinnott comes in, and just all of a sudden they're going down the field and moving the football last week against DC. And Reed Sinnott's been in the NFL camps before. So I'm going to take a shot with this over, with the total being low 38, but I'm with you with the side. I think Michigan will, at less than a field goal, I could only look at the Panthers here at home.
He was a bad quarterback in college too, Babano. Let's just call it, anytime a QB was bad in college and you see him in one of these leagues, it's not good. Because, you're like, basically to make it, you got to be good in these leagues. You got to be like, no, that guy was good in college. He can handle this league. Like Matt Corral. Like, look, Matt Corral, bro, was an elite college quarterback, 3rd-round pick in the NFL, and he can handle being a quarterback in this league. That's the type of skill level that you need.
Right.
Like Adrian Martinez and these guys, these sort of, these guys that kicked around college and stuff, they're not elite enough in this league. So let's get to the Battlehawks in San Antonio. San Antonio, we talked about it, were a mess last year when Hines Ward was the coach. And it was all about him, and he was feuding with the other coaches and the players, and he was always ripping them publicly after. We're going to make changes and blah, blah. Remember, it was like ugly. They had enough. They said, you're out. You know what I mean? Like The Rock, they were like, this is not this is not what we want to run this team. They bring in Wade Phillips. We saw how good Wade Phillips was, bro, with Houston in the XFL, right? Like Wade Phillips is really good in these leagues. He knows how to put a team together. He can put a defense together. Players really like him. He's got a good staff all the time around him. So San Antonio were terrible last year, guys, and now they're 2-0. And they've got a little bit of a home field thing going too. It's not quite like St. Louis, but they got that dome going. They're positive about the team. They have fun there. They don't have another pro team. But you get St. Louis rolling in here, Babano, who I don't think are that great, actually. I think they should be better. A.J. McCarron's kind of a problem. Like, they have all these wide receivers. They literally have, like, 5 wide receivers that were, like, the top 8 combined out of the 2 leagues, guys, the USFL and the XFL. They literally have, like, 5 of the top 10 guys or whatever on their team. McCarron can't get them the ball. I know the offensive line isn't great. McCarron's been off. But if you look at San Antonio, guys, they won the first game of Bano. They had a 44-yard fake punt that was thrown for a touchdown. They did hold DC to 12 points. Last week, they capitalized on the not the onside kick, but the 4th and 15. They get it, right?
You get the extra possession.
They get it.
Yep.
Yeah, they get the extra thing, and Vancouver Canucks just score, guys. 3-2, 8:42 left. They get it. They win the game. They're down 16-0 last week, guys, to Memphis. They come back. They win the game 20-19. It was a crazy comeback. Now they're going back home. They get the Battlehawks. The Brahmas are getting 2 points here. I got to take them, Urbano. I know they've kind of been lucky, but at the same point in time, they've also been good. They're good to be lucky, lucky to be good. They're creating their own destiny here. And I don't really trust A.J. McCarron and his Battlehawk team on the road in a dome against, now you don't have the advantage. Now you're going into a loud dome yourselves. I'm taking San Antonio, bro.
Yeah, this is kind of like D.C. with St. Louis, too, that you want them at home. On the road, you got to be a little skeptical. And look, for a change, and I'll give him some credit. Now, last week he struggled a little bit. He definitely did against Memphis. But at the end of the game, he found ways to move the football and give his team a touchdown and get the 4th and 13 and then score after that. Yeah, it was partially a Memphis collapse, but you got to give Chase Garber's credit. He's played pretty solid at quarterback here for San Antonio in these first 2 games, getting more comfortable as well, I think, in this offense. Yeah, I'm kind of
make some plays
here.
With his legs, too. He does what he has to do, and he'll get better. Like you said, he'll get better with more reps and more starts.
Yeah, and he's shown the ability, you're right, exactly, to be dual threat, and be able to make plays when the pocket collapses. And that was how he scored one of his touchdowns, I know, in the first week of the season. But, yeah, I'm
former
with you
Cal
here.
quarterback.
San Antonio. I like the total more. This is another over for me. It's funny. I like the unders. I lean unders in the Saturday games. I think there's points and scoring in the Sunday games. It's kind of how I look at this card. I think the 2 Saturday games could be lower scoring, and I think the 2 Sunday games could be higher scoring, including this one. Weather won't be an issue. We're at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. I know McCarron and the Battlehawks offenses look disjointed, a little out of sync, but to me the talent should be much better than what they have shown so far. I'm hoping this is a week their offense gets it in gear, and their defense hasn't been great, St. Louis. If you look at what they've done on the defensive side of the football, Gabe, they're 3rd worst in the league as far as points per game and yards per game allowed, St. Louis on defense. So I think San Antonio scores. I'm hoping the St. Louis talent on offense starts to play a little more like it here, and we can get up and over that total there, 42.
And, of course, all 4 games nationally televised. We'll let you know where you can watch them as the week advances. So let me rattle off some golf picks here. If you weren't with us earlier, we had the great Brady Cannon on with us. He's taking Xander to win the tournament. Xander Schauffele to win the tournament. He's also playing him for a top 10 finish. He's taking Jordan Spieth to win. Also played a top 20 finish. Will Zalatoris at 28-1. Hideki Matsuyama at 29-1. Neiman at 30-1. Tony Finau 47-1. Shane Lowry 70-1. Head-to-head matchups. He likes Spieth over Brooks Koepka. He likes Joaquin Neiman over Wyndham Clark. And Tony Finau over Cameron Young. First-round leaders for Brady. Xander Schauffele, Justin Thomas. Justin Thomas got a new caddy on the bag, and he likes that aspect, sort of like a manager getting fired in a team with the first game after. So Brady's rolling the dice with JT, first-round leader, 35-1. Shane Lowry, 45-1, first-round leader. Jason Day, 50-1, and Captain Kirk, Chris Kirk, 90-1. We got Cam's picks as well. Cam is going to the hockey game with George Kurtz, who was with us earlier. And we'll get Babano's pick for that hockey game before we get Babano out of here. Cam's also taking Xander Schauffele. He's also taking Will Zalatoris. So Cam Stewart's pick, Xander Schauffele, Will Zalatoris, Matt Fitzpatrick, Sahith Theegala, Brian, I take 25 swaggers before I take the shot, Harmon, and Nick Dunlop as well. So that's Cam Stewart's card. Guys, I don't think he's going to win, but I think that Ludwig Aberg is going to be a top 20 pick here. I like Aberg. I think he could hang around, guys, even top 10, top 5. Thing is, debutantes, as they call them, first-time players never win this thing. That's sort of the problem with that. I think that John Rahm is being slept on Babano at 10-1. I know it's hard to go back-to-back, but, man, you're getting a good number with a guy as good as John Rahm. And those live guys are prepared for the Masters and the majors as well.
Yeah, I mean, John Rahm, and you're right. Actually, John Rahm plus 1,800. I've actually seen times when, he's been worse on the board than that as far as his odds. So that's actually not bad when you think of it for John Rahm. My golf guy, I'll rattle them off here quickly before the break. Joaquin Neiman, 30-1. Zalatoris, 38-1. Cameron Young, 50-1. Russell Henley, 55-1. Adam Scott, 100-1. How about Sergio Garcia for my golf guy, 125-1, saying Sergio's form is good. He obviously won here in 2017, and that he's ready to contend here. He also likes Sergio first-round leader. His favorite first-round leader choice is also Sergio Garcia here for this Masters. So my golf guy really thinks the Spaniard is live here at Augusta.
He meets all the criteria. I was going over some of the metrics that it takes to win a Masters, and the guys on the list were Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, Hideki Matsuyama, Justin Thomas, Tony Finau, Chris Kirk, and Sergio Garcia. Those are the players that meet. They've won before. They were top 5. Like a good example is 8 of the last 10 Masters winners have either won a major before or had a runner-up in a major before. Like there's sort of like a lot of these sort of trends that added up to this. I'll give you my best bets for the Masters on the way up.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
I mean, is it pretty much cut and dry that NC State is the biggest surprise of the weekend? I mean, I don't think anybody's bracket had the Wolfpack going this far.
I think they're going to find a way to keep this one close. And we all know Purdue's tournament history under Matt Painter. They've had a lot of early exits when they've been good teams, and maybe this is the time they'll exercise their demons. It's kind of like when Virginia lost to that 16-seed UMBC.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We had the best team in Colorado losing. So there's it's not even like Colorado's going to sit on it, right? I mean, there's no way in the world we're not getting one more goal. We're going to cash this ticket. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
I love the bet. I love the price. I think that's, like I said, that's one we're going to have to, we're telling everybody right now. They're probably moving it in risk rooms everywhere right now based on us giving out this information.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
North Carolina come back, take the lead, and then somehow Alabama punches back. A true classic. Like, the word classic gets tossed around loosely a lot, but that really was a true classic.
Great point earlier about Arizona. They had such an advantage under the basket, yet they're having guys just chuck threes. Their whole game plan sucked from the get-go. Like, the fact that they lost that game, I put a lot of it on coaching.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell Coast to Coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage Late
Sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. So, we didn't get to Caitlin Clark and the fact that they announced 36 of the 40 games are going to be nationally televised this year. The Caitlin effect is real. But something that's cool about this, because I was sort of just, it's always a letdown after something ends, right? And both the tournaments were great, the women's and the men's. Well, I don't know if the men's tournament was great, but it was great because we picked UConn to win and we won. So, yeah, it was great. But, it's sort of like, okay, what's next? It's kind of the calm before the storm right now. Some of these regular season games matter, but for the most part, it's go time, right? So the play-in starts on Tuesday in the NBA next week, and that'll take us in. And there'll be some cool teams in the West in the play-in tournament. So it's going to be pretty cool stuff from a betting perspective and for us to be breaking it down live next week. And then it'll lead us into the NHL and the NBA playoffs in full effect, which start next week as well. The NHL playoffs going to be starting next weekend. The United Football League rolls on and continues. And you know what? We didn't get to this tonight. The Frozen Four is tomorrow, right? They were off, but they're back tomorrow. So follow me on Twitter, and I'll post all of my picks. But these games are going to be on before we're on tomorrow night. And I do think that the Denver Pioneers, a team that we told you guys that they would make it to the Final Four of the Frozen Four here, but I think it's the end of the line for them. I think Boston University is going to beat Denver in a lower scoring game. It might be a push at 4-3. The total is 7, but it wouldn't surprise me if BU won the game 3-2. The Michigan Wolverines just keep winning as an underdog all the time. And as good as Boston College is, Michigan could play with them. You get Michigan plus a $1.50 at -170. I think that the total is 7, but it is going to go over the number. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a 5-4 final. I think the Wolverines are live dogs, and it's going to go over the number. So a shout out to all of our guests tonight, and I'll post some more Masters picks. Oh, the Vancouver Canucks just scored with 3 minutes left to tie the game. Will there be a hole in one? Yes. -225. Other than that, you're on your own later.